The security scanner beeped twice. The officers looked at each other. Jamie Raskin just smiled, lightly touched the file, and said, "This ends today, gentlemen." Everything. She entered the courtroom with 3 assistants and 3 black bags. The bags were placed on the table. Click, click, click. The 3 opened at the same time. Inside, there were documents divided into red, yellow, and green tabs, an archive system that clearly took months to prepare. Kash Patel was sitting across, with a stone face, with that very well-known mask. But the cameras captured the moment when that mask broke for a moment. And from that moment on, what happened in the next 12 minutes? Watch the full video. What set this hearing apart from others was that it was not a political debate, but a document-based inquiry. And what those documents indicate forms the essence of this analysis. Chapter 1. The package that arrived 36 hours ago. Raskin took the microphone. The first 20 minutes were standard procedure. Other senators asked about budgets, cyber threats. Patel gave short, efficient answers. He checked his watch twice. He looked almost bored. Then Raskin spoke. "Director Patel, a package was delivered to my office 36 hours ago." The room changed. If I had to describe it in one word, the energy transformed. People straightened up. The cameras refocused. There was a USB drive in this package. On that drive, there were 2,300 pages of internal FBI correspondence spanning from June 2019 to February 2025. 6 years' worth of emails, memos, directives, and reports, all from within your institution. All of it, allegedly, are materials documenting how the Epstein investigation was systematically handled. Silence. This was not a normal courtroom silence. In that heavy silence where something irretrievable was heard, Patel leaned slightly forward. "Senator, I categorically reject any characterization of the FBI's handling of this investigation." While Raskin, pulling out the first document, said, "You can deny it as much as you want. What is written here will not change." Chapter 2. The first document. 34 names and not suitable for now. It's a document. Date: June 14th, 2019. From the FBI Miami field office to the FBI headquarters. Subject line: Epstein investigation, high-profile targets. He removed the document for the cameras. In this email, the Miami office reports that they have identified 34 individuals connected to Jeffrey Epstein's operation. There are witness statements, flight logs, and photographic evidence available. They are requesting an official investigation for these 34 names. He placed the document on the table. The center responded 3 days later. And the response was, "It is not deemed appropriate at this time. It is recommended to suspend it while further review is awaited." Signature: Vice President. He looked at Patel. 34 names. Evidence is available. And the center said, "Wait." This was 2019, 6 years ago. How long exactly was it supposed to take? He asked, as Patel's lawyer leaned in and whispered. He slightly nodded and answered himself. Decisions regarding investigative priorities involve complex assessments that cannot be overlooked. Raskin interjected, saying, "Let me show you how these complex assessments developed. If you want to follow this type of documentary analysis, subscribe to our channel and keep the notifications on." Let's continue. Section 3. Second document, archival purposes. Document 2, August 10th, 2019, 1 week after Epstein's death. Raskin pulled another document. Internal memo from the Vice President to all field offices. Subject: The Epstein matter, closing the case. I am quoting, "Effective immediately, the Epstein case will be considered closed. All related investigations will be suspended. All evidence will be transferred to the headquarters for archival purposes." He stopped. Archival purposes. In FBI language, this means burying and forgetting. Whispers rose from the room. The reporters were writing. The committee members were looking at each other. "But it gets worse," Raskin said, "because 6 months later, in January 2020, before Ghislaine Maxwell was even arrested, An FBI analyst wrote an email to her supervisor. He read the document. We have gathered sufficient evidence to proceed against Maxwell. Why are we delaying? The boss's response. Political sensitivities. We are waiting for permission. He looked at Patel. Political sensitivities, Director? Whose politics? Who exactly was being sensitive about arresting a woman who exposed children to human trafficking? Silence. Patel's hands were resting flat on the table. He wasn't moving. Just there, as if trying to anchor itself. Chapter 4. Third document. Handwritten, not approved. After Maxwell was convicted in March 2021, Raskin presented a report in which an FBI field agent named 47 individuals and recommended an immediate investigation. A senior official had written, "Not approved," in the margin. High-level decision. Someone at the very top of the FBI, maybe even higher, decided that 47 people involved in child sex trafficking weren't worth investigating. Someone at the top of the FBI, maybe even higher up, decided that 47 people involved in child human trafficking were not worth investigating. Chapter 5. Signed Directive. Raskin pulled a document from a different department. It had a red cover page. This document was kept confidential until the federal court order lifted its secrecy 72 hours ago. Date: February 3, 2025, 2 weeks after taking over the directorship. He opened. Memo from the FBI Director's Office to all field offices and unit heads. Subject: Cases related to the Epstein investigation. New operational directives. He started reading slowly, allowing each word to settle. Effective immediately, all active cases related to the Epstein investigation will be transferred to FBI headquarters. No field office may initiate or continue investigative activity without the explicit approval of the Director's Office. All scheduled witness interviews have been suspended. All pending document requests will be denied while under review. He raised his head. And at the very bottom of this directive, Director Patel, there is your signature. The room exploded. Suddenly, there was a surge of activity in the gallery. Journalists jumped from their seats, cameramen scrambled for angles, and the president shouted, "Order!" with the gavel, while Patel stood frozen in place with a pale face. His chief lawyer, a man in his 60s with gray hair, quickly stood up, pulling his chair back. "Mr. Chairman, I need to object to this line of questioning." "Sit down, Mr. Lawyer." Raskin's voice was as cold as ice. "Your client can answer for himself." But Patel did not respond. On the screen behind her, she was looking at a 3-meter enlarged image of her own signature. Chapter 6. The Same Day. Raskin continued. His voice was now almost silent, but every word hung in the air. "The day you signed this directive, on the same day you had a meeting with White House officials." He looked at Patel. "What did they tell you in that meeting, Director Patel? What did they urge you to do?" Patel finally spoke. His voice was tense. "Senator, Don't say it. Don't say you didn't sign this directive." Raskin lifted another document. "After the signing of this directive, FBI activity on Epstein-related investigations dropped by 94%. Witness interviews, 0. Document analysis, 0. Field investigation, 0. You didn't just slow down the investigation, Director. You stopped it. You stopped." Chapter 7. List of protected names. Raskin released the final document. And now, let's get to the part that closely concerns every American. This is the internal FBI list created in 2021 and updated in 2025. Title: Individuals exempt from Epstein investigation activities. He lifted the document. 47 names, Raskin said, and next to each one, there is a code indicating the reason for protection. Code A, political sensitivity, 12 people. Code B, diplomatic relations, 8 people. Code C, national security concerns, 15 people. He paused. Code D, Executive branch protection, 12 people. The room fell silent, and Raskin repeated, Executive branch protection. Allegedly, the White House protected 12 people from the Epstein investigation. He was looking at Patel. Is this National Security Director, or is it something else? Is this National Security Director, or something else? If you want to continue following this topic, subscribe to our channel. All of this process. Chapter 8. The Fifth Amendment. Patel's lawyer stood up. Mr. Chairman, my client is invoking his Fifth Amendment right. He will not answer this or any related questions. The room erupted again. Raskin slowly shook his head. It was as if he had been expecting this. It was as if he wanted this. Fifth Amendment, he said, the right not to self-incriminate. He turned back to his desk. He gathered his documents. The FBI director believes that answering questions about the Epstein investigation could implicate him. He looked into the cameras. American people, do you hear this? The person in charge of federal law enforcement is invoking his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination by refusing to answer questions about the child sex trafficking investigation. He sat down. These documents will be shared with the public tomorrow morning. The entire 2,300 pages. Every email. Her directive. She looked at Patel one last time. The truth always comes to light, Director. Always. Always. Chapter 9. Public Reaction. The hearing officially continued, but the room and the audience were no longer paying attention. Clips spread rapidly on social media, news channels went into emergency broadcast mode, and legal commentators discussed what it meant for an FBI director to invoke the Fifth Amendment before Congress. Because, although it is a right granted to individuals in American law, a director using it in public became a critical turning point in discussions of transparency and accountability. Chapter 10. Claim or Reality. At this point, a clear distinction needs to be made. The content of the documents presented by Raskin and the materials from the USB have not been verified by independent sources. Patel neither rejected nor confirmed the alleged signed directive, leaving its source and authenticity uncertain. The existence of the 47 names and codes has not been confirmed by the public, remaining merely an allegation. The White House meeting alleged to have taken place on the same day has not been independently verified by official records. However, the fact that an FBI director invoked the Fifth Amendment in Congress has been recorded, and the event is considered real, although its legal interpretation is controversial. In summary, the documents presented at the hearing are not court-approved evidence, and an independent investigation process will clarify the accuracy of these allegations. End. 3 minutes and the weight of silence. 3 minutes. From Raskin opening the first document to Patel choosing to remain silent. What happened during this process? A 6-year internal FBI correspondence claim was presented to the public. A pattern starting with 34 names and reaching 47 names was described. The signing of a directive was held simultaneously with a White House meeting. And the FBI director chose to remain silent, arguing that answering these questions could implicate him. All of these are allegations that will gain clarity in independent investigations and legal proceedings. The results are not final. The lawsuits are ongoing. But one thing hasn't changed. These questions are now on record. These allegations are now in the public eye. And a director's silence in a courtroom invoking the Fifth Amendment has gone down in history as a moment that will be referenced for a long time in the accountability debate. If you have followed this analysis up to this point and want to keep up with discussions on corporate accountability, subscribe to our channel and keep notifications on. We will continue to analyze developments on this topic here. You can share your thoughts in the comments. What does the use of the Fifth Amendment in this context mean to you? See you in the next video.